Whether it's your first year or your 10th year, what you probably don't realize is that you should never have to guess which of these tiers to pick. Specifically, I'm talking about the support staff discounts. On the surface, these look like there's choices to be made, there's a lot of math to do, there's pros and cons to picking each of these tiers. I'm here to tell you that each of these is completely fixed, and that based on how much you're spending on the other slots should determine which of these tiers you're buying. So I went ahead and I made this doc, and the first thing I have to preface is that the discounts should only drive how much you save. They don't necessarily choose who you hire. So before you choose if you're going to hire a discount code or staff, you should just simply look at which of the other ones you want. So, do I want the NIL expectation reduction? Do I want the increased recruiting hours? That's the question you need to ask first and determine, and then you can come over here. So, let's say you have decided that you've hired enough and that you want a discount coach and that you don't want to go hire another coach in that slot. I have good news for you. There's no thinking to be done. The way the math actually works here is that you can take how much you're going to save through a very simple algebra formula, and it will tell you exactly which tier to hire. We do this by taking the discount, which is in the game the minus 40%, minus 30%, times the total amount that you spend on staff that does not include this staff discount. You take that number and you subtract the actual fee, which is the cost of the support staff discount. Here's the actual breakdowns of the tiers. So as you can see here, here's the 15% discount. Then you have the 100 Dynasty Point fee they charge, and you can use that to calculate how much you're actually going to save when you multiply the discount times the amount you're actually going to spend on the coaches. Each of these are just relative to their own, so none of these are, you can't buy multiple, they're all on their own. Based off the number, I have gotten this to exactly what tiers you want to buy. So if you thought you wanted to buy a Dynasty discount and you had only 667 coach points spent in the other ones, then you should never have bought the support staff discount. It makes no sense because mathematically the percentage does not outweigh the fee you originally pay. If you're from 667 to 999, then you can buy the bronze. It's only a tiny window, and at the highest end it'll make you 50. So you kind of got to be a little bit on the edge with it. The biggest one that I find other than the gold is the silver. The silver has about 30% of bronze's smaller cut, and it also matches a lot of gold and beats platinum a lot of the time. So most rosters will end up using silver if they do the discount. And then finally, the big name schools will be using gold consistently. Some of this has to do with the recruiting coach isn't great, and some of it just has to do with unless you're a 5-star school, you just don't have the NIL to afford. And then finally, if you have all 5 slots and you are planning on buying all the other coaches, then you'll finally want to buy the platinum tier. Kind of help you with this, I've made a chart that shows it. So this red line, so the x-axis is the NIL that you actually spend on the other staff. The vertical axis is how much you're actually profiting. So the red line shows you any of the zone where you're actually not gaining anything or you're net neutral. Just when you cross the threshold, you'll notice that bronze is the first one to profit a little bit before silver ends up overtaking it at 1,000. At these intersections, they are essentially the same. It doesn't matter which tier you buy. If you want to look cooler, you can go buy the bigger one, but it effectively does not matter. As soon as you hit the 3,000 mark is where things start to get they start to get kind of close, but as you get really far, you'll notice that silver dies off here and that platinum really skyrockets once you hit the 5,000. Regardless of this, there's always one that's a winner. So you can see here the silver bar wins, here the gold bar wins, and here the platinum bar wins. So some general do's and don'ts. So do match the tier that you spend. So if you're in the range, like I showed up here, just go and buy it. I gave you all those numbers, but simply this is the chart you need to follow, and that there's no other thinking to do. You buy the other coaches, and then you choose this chart. Do treat silver as your floor. Bronze is hardly ever worth it. Most rosters, if you're gonna buy coaches, are gonna spend 1,000. If they're not, then you're not gonna buy this coach at all. And then I would say mostly push towards gold, but it's nice to push towards platinum. So let me show you how it actually looks in the game. So I've loaded up Alabama. They have almost 6,000 NIL, so we have plenty of room to work with. So I want to start by showing you, I'll show you the highest extreme. So we'll go by the performance. We'll go over here to recruiting. We'll buy the 1,000 recruiting. Let's go to Dynasty Points. Let's go buy the best one. And now let's go to reduce, and we're going to buy the best one of this one. So now we're left with 295 points. So one of the caveats you'll have with this is it's going to seem like you can't afford this if you don't do it in the right order. So when we go to the actual support staff, you'll see this only wants me to be able to have silver. We'll go ahead and buy it, and you'll see that you'll get some weird, now EA just does stuff. For whatever reason, they made this a floating point, who knows? But you'll see that we have 1,695 points. We can actually improve this. So what you actually want to do is, once you know what staff you want to hire, essentially do the math of that and then figure out which of the staff matches and buy that one first. So we know we spent over the 5,000 mark. So what we do is we go and buy the support staff discount for the last one first. What this does is it actually lets you buy the coaches first before you hire the rest. So we'll go to recruiting, we'll buy the same one, and then we'll just fill out the rest. And now you'll notice we have over 2,000 points, whereas before we were all the way under it. So always buy, so do your math and then go and buy the support staff that matches first. Otherwise, there's a chance you get gated by how the points are set up. You can go and play around with this yourself. I can go through hundreds of scenarios, show you exactly that the points end up equaling the better tiers in the ranges I provided. I hope this helps you guys. Please like, please subscribe. Have a good one.